This is the Word to Stand On for Life with Pastor Ron Arbaugh.
Your word is sharper than any two-edged sword, and it cuts deep into my heart.
The Word to Stand On for Life is a radio ministry of Calvary Chapel in San Antonio. A live call-in show here to help you answer your questions about the Bible and how to apply the Word to your daily life. For more information on Calvary Chapel, visit our website, calvarysa.com. Get your Bible questions ready and call in now to 210-340-9585. It's The Word to Stand On for Life with Pastor Ron Arbaugh.
Welcome to the program. It's a special program today. I'll explain in a moment. I'm Pastor Ron Arbaugh from Calvary Chapel in San Antonio, Texas, and this is The Word to Stand On for Life, a program dedicated to taking your phone calls and answering your questions, Bible questions, questions about stuff going on in your life, whatever's on your heart. You need only to dial 210-340-9585. If you are outside the local San Antonio area, you can call toll-free at 877-630-KSLR. That's 630-5757. You can email questions to us by emailing questions at calvarysa.com, or you can use our Calvary Chapel of San Antonio mobile app. And as always, if you're driving in your car, the safest way to call is to use the free KSLR mobile app. Hit the Call Now banner at the top of the screen, and you'll be connected directly to our studio producer. Hey, Tuesday, we normally don't have anything going on, but today is completely different. We have a special edition of the Date Day program. Paul and I have an engagement on Thursday at KSLR, or with KSLR, so we will be doing a rebroadcast on Thursday. But today was the perfect day for Paul and I to be here together on the Date Day show, because today, Paula, you already know because I said it already. It's our 53rd wedding anniversary.
I've been talking about it for a long time. Everywhere you go, we've been saying so. But I appreciate that you said happy anniversary first this morning. God bless you.
And you know, you sent me pictures, and I was just teasing with you, but not really teasing because it's painfully true. But pictures of our wedding, and there were like 6 people there.
Yeah.
Or no, there was one extra because of the
guy who, the officiant.
Yeah. But people, I've shown the picture around today, and people saying, "Oh, Paula hasn't changed at all. She looks exactly the same." I kept showing it to people, just hoping that one would say, "Pastor Ron, you haven't changed at all."
Somebody, right? You should have showed them a quarter or something.
Nobody said that. So it's just all about you.
Yeah. No, it isn't either. You're the cutest thing. I'm looking at one of the pictures, you know, with your long hair. And I thought you were just so cute. Yeah. I sent the pictures to our kids today. Let me see. Let me go over here to this text to see what they were saying.
Now, just for the audience's sake, we will take phone calls and questions, but we're going to reminisce a little bit. I hope it is just a tiny bit encouraging or entertaining for you for tuning in. But
So I sent these pictures to the kids, you know, and grandkids. And I said, we were young once. And Ari wrote back, those flare pants are incredible.
Hey, bell bottoms were big back then. What you can't see in the picture, but you and I know.
Yeah.
We were wearing so much polyester that if the heat was too high, we'd have rolled up in a ball.
I'm talking if anybody would have lit a match.
Just a little pile of plastic.
Be over, wouldn't it? And so that's Ari, our oldest grandson. Then Yana, Ronnie's daughter, says, "You and Ronnie are twins." Me and Ronnie, you know, and like Deanna said, cute. I said, 53 years ago today, crazy, right? And so then they started saying, happy anniversary, Mom and Dad. Ronnie said, wow, big wow. And then even as you touch it, the wow gets bigger. Happy anniversary, Padres. Congratulations, love you all. And then Terry sent the picture of you just isolated with your hair, you know. It curls up at the end. Oh,
yeah, I still have the same amount of hair. I just don't wear it the same way. It don't have quite. It's not as long.
Yeah.
But it's thick, and I had a lot of it.
Yeah, I keep telling people, I've been telling them for years, he's a chia pet. So if I show them this picture, they will know I should keep that one because that is just too cute. So Ronnie says, those pics are crazy to look at. Dad with the swag, and Mom is still angelic. I don't know what he was talking about. And Terry says, Mom has always been beautiful, so I thanked them all, And then they start sending crazy pictures. What's this guy's name?
I can't see it.
They're from the Dumb and Dumber people. What's the guy's name? I can't
Owen
think.
Wilson?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, let me see.
No, huh? That's who it is.
It's not Dumb and
Not Dumb and Dumber, but I don't remember.
Oh, yeah,
But it's
Owen Wilson. Yeah, it's not Dumb and
Yeah.
Dumber, though.
That's what they said. You look like Owen Wilson with your long hair and the way you were styling. Just so swaggy.
Owen Wilson wishes he looked that good.
And then Ronnie sent a picture of all the family at our beach in California. I think it was 2017. And then he asked, and I don't really know what this kind of stuff is, asked AI to roast us, But anyway, looking at the picture, talking about Ronnie, he's either a beach model or a dad joke dealer. Can't really tell, It just went on. It was cute. They were having lots of fun with looking at our picture. Yeah. Happy anniversary, baby, from our kids and me.
Paula, we were reminiscing about some of the things, we lived in an apartment. We had a big half wolf, half German Shepherd dog living in the apartment next to us.
Yes.
And he could break in. He'd go through the walls, and
we took the slats out of the windows.
Yeah.
Those crank windows.
Yeah.
Remember, they're
Yeah.
like 6 to 8 inches deep, and then I don't know how many wide.
And we
He
were
would just
so
take 'em out.
poor. We were so poor that when he did that, he came in and sort of dug up the carpet. I mean, he got down to the dirt.
He got down to the dirt.
Yeah. I'm thinking
Yes.
maybe there must have been a dead body or something buried under there that he was going after.
Yeah.
But you were pregnant when we got married.
Yep.
And the pictures you weren't showing much at all. You didn't show much at all anyway.
Yeah.
But you didn't show much. But when we were laughing today, when we found out you're pregnant. Now I don't drink. I've said that on the program before. Never had a drink. You drank, and I worked at a liquor store right across a little tiny street from our apartment. And when I found out you were pregnant, I was so happy. I went over, and to celebrate, I got you a bottle of Boone's Farm apple wine.
You just twist the top.
Yeah, and of course I wasn't drinking, so I would give it to you. Oh, Paul, I'm so happy. Here, let's celebrate. We're so old that people didn't know pregnant people shouldn't drink at that time. It was just
Nobody should drink. I don't know what was wrong with us. What was wrong with us? Because it's one of those things where I'm an adult.
Yeah. Well, you took it off and poured yourself but the smell made you sick.
I didn't even take a drink. It just got to my face, and it was like
that was your first morning sickness, I think.
It was. And you were so cute because when I ran to the sink, you ran right behind me, and you put your hand on my forehead and the other hand on my back while I was throwing up. It's a good thing it was me throwing up and not you, because I'm sorry, babe, but I would have been outside. I just can't take that. It was hard for me to be sick, but oh man, yeah. So thank you so much. You're just really a giver. Yeah, you took a wet washcloth and put it on the back of my neck after a minute or so, and I was looking at you like, why are you here?
That day was a Saturday, and we just got up and again, because you were pregnant, we knew we had to get married. We planned that all along anyway.
Yeah.
But we just thought, let's get married today. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was that we called a few people.
Yeah, I think it was about 10:30 when we decided in the morning. Let's get married today. Okay, so at noon,
I had to go find a church that would marry us.
Yeah, and at noon I called your mom and grandma and said, we're getting married today at 4 because you had found what they call Presbyterian church in, I don't know, Panorama City.
Panorama City.
Uh-huh. And so we knew where we were going to go. The guy didn't know us from Adam, had never been in that church, right? How did you find that?
I just went looking for it. We're driving around.
Mm-hmm.
and went looking for churches and just, hey, would you marry us?
Mm-hmm.
My wife's pregnant. We need to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah.
Did you say $50?
It's $50. I think the check bounced.
No, not yet. Not yet. That was later. That was much later.
We were so poor. And you know what you said this morning? You said, Ron, we were just kids.
We were just kids.
And we really were kids. We had no idea about what to do or what we were embarking on.
Mm-hmm.
We had no idea what it was like to be an adult.
Yeah.
And
your parents didn't set a good example. Mine didn't either, as to how to be human to each other. You know, they just, like for my family, they just act like they didn't really like each other. And from what I've heard from yours, they didn't seem to. They did if they had enough alcohol to make them friendly, like a little frisky.
Yeah.
Mine too, but yeah, no, more arguing than anything.
Yeah.
Or separation, as far as, you know, they worked and either stayed at work later or, yeah, just, so I didn't know how to be other than, when you have an issue, you argue. At least you're talking.
You know, my old life, I was a gambler. And I would have given 1,000,000 to 1 odds against us lasting 5 years, let alone 53 years. Mm-hmm. But that's the power of God. He kept us together and used our kids to do it. Yeah. Ronnie was born, and then Terry, you got pregnant with Terry. And there's just no way we would have survived if we didn't have them. But there was this instinctive thing that you and I both had. Hey, those are our kids. We got to take care of them. Mm-hmm. And though we could be mean to each other, we knew we had a responsibility to those kids. And that's the tool God used to keep us together and bring us to that point where in 1978 you gave your life to Jesus Christ, and began the process of praying for me and the Lord sort of molding and shaping you. But what are your memories from when we first got married?
Well, I remember standing at the altar, but you got to remember and tell the story from the beginning. When you came to my front door, I heard a voice say, "This is the one for life." That's well before we got married. This is the one for life. And even in that...
Yeah, that's March 20th, 1970.
Yeah. And then to think the day we got married was September 16, 1972. So that's, 2.5 years later? And so even in that 2.5 years, we broke up and got back together, a couple times. But it was like the Lord said, and I wasn't even saved. Neither one of us saved. And yet the Lord kept putting us back together. But yeah, but two people trying to, I wanted to be loved. Unlike my upbringing, and that wasn't happening. But I didn't know. I thought it was going to be like a knight in shining armor come and sweep me off my feet, and everything would be just wonderful, no problems. And my marriage was going to be way different than the one I had experienced living in my home. And I'm
laughing because I think if you were really looking for a knight in shining armor, the way we tell the story is you were looking for Tall, Dark, and Denzel.
I know.
And I showed up. I think, ooh, she had to be so disappointed.
No, I really wasn't. And but when I heard that voice say, "This is the one for life," okay, and then fast forward, we're living together because my mom had abandoned me, your dad had disowned you, and all those kind of things. And he said the reason was because I'm black, but he had his own issues. So I don't really know. He was just embarrassed, I guess. He just didn't know. So anyway, standing at the altar, I'm 2 months pregnant probably. I had made my little dress, a major tie. I thought we looked kind of cute, actually. But at the altar, I remember distinctly, this is really happening. I'm getting married. And for me, when I got married, it was one of those, I'm married forever. There's going to be this is it. I mean, all that was going on in my head while I'm standing there, like, this is really happening. It's like, yeah, this is the one for life. And so yesterday, David asked, will we be with our spouses in heaven? And you answered, yes, but not married to each other, but to Jesus. And you said, Paula, the Lord has let you know that Paula stuck with you. You know, I used to think I was stuck with you. And because the Lord kept putting us back together even before we were saved, I used to think, I'm just stuck with him. This is. And I used to think the Lord tricked me, you know. Why is it like this? You know, because I was thinking it's going to be different. Why is it like this? And yet he said, just kept saying, give me one more day for the longest time.
Yeah.
But
since you pick up in a minute.
Okay.
Since you just brought it up, we just had a called-in question to the studio from Janet in San Antonio, and she says, "What is the scriptural evidence that we will see our spouses again in heaven?" Janet, marriage is forever. We know that. That's the general teaching of the Bible. But 1 Corinthians chapter 13 closes in verse 12 with this: "Now we see, but a poor reflection is in a mirror. Then," and that's when perfection comes, when we're in heaven with Jesus, "then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known." And the idea there is fully known by God. So here's the thing you have to remember about heaven. We're going to be infinitely smarter than we are here. We're going to know stuff, and we're going to have secrets and mysteries unveiled to us over and over and over. And since marriage is a covenant that was established by God, and it's to be forever, one man, one woman, forever, when we are in heaven, the family units will be together. Now remember, we're going to have plenty of freedom of movement, New Jerusalem, the new earth, back and forth. So it's not going to be like we're floating around on a cloud, just me and Paula with her singing to me, although that would be okay. But no, we will know one another, and the relationship will be different but the same. I hope that makes sense. The intimacy won't be physical. It will be better than that. And I think what we have to do is understand what God has prepared for us. Jesus said he's going there to prepare a place for us. And he's going to take us to be with him where he is. And where he is, there won't be any secrets. There won't be anything unknown other than the mysteries of God being revealed to us forever and ever and ever. Somebody said, well, if heaven's going to be just boring and we're going to do the same thing every day and we're just going to worship God, can you imagine having the whole universe opened up to you every day? And you see new things. What we're going to see is the bigness and the goodness and the greatness of God. So, Janet, study marriage in the Bible. But then you get to the part where in heaven we're not going to be dumber than we are here. So we're going to be together forever.
That's as long as both are Christians.
Yeah.
And the Bible says to be absent from the body, to be present with the Lord. And so if both are Christians, they'll be with the Lord forever and ever and ever. And I like the fact that we can come and go where we at will, And I want to be in the Spanish-speaking section. I love this, if that's a section. I just always think about that. But I'm going to be, like you say, smarter than, will it just be one language? Probably will be, huh?
You know what? Yeah.
Probably just one language, huh?
Yeah. People get real spiritual. I think it's going to be Hebrew. And, I don't think we'll have to talk.
Probably not, huh?
I think
we'll
we're going to know
and be fully known.
Yeah. Our hearts will be completely bare before everybody, and people will see the beauty. I think it brings kind of a new meaning to the phrase, "All beautiful you are, my darling." There's no flaw in you. And imagine what that's going to be like when you're actually looking at someone who sees you as being absolutely perfect, and you won't protest like you do now. I tell you, I look at you, even today, all these years later, I say, "Paula, you are so beautiful. You're hot." And you'll look at me like, "Oh, stop." I say, "No, I'm not going to stop." Well, in heaven, when I say, "Oh, you are so beautiful," you're going to say, "I know it."
I'm going to start practicing now. Because every once in a while, I'm like, you know what? He has a point. I saw myself this. I don't look too bad today. But most of the time, it's like I'm looking at the inside.
Paul, I just got an email from Thomas. He said, he says, you're talking about the picture of me. He says, I can somehow imagine you looking like a Hansel. That's when Owen Wilson from Zoolander.
From Zoolander.
And then he says, LOL, which I always thought meant lots of love. But now,
yeah.
That's laughing out loud.
Yeah.
And then he says he and his wife are celebrating 25 years in April. See, Thomas, I'm jealous because you're so much younger.
Maybe not.
Oh, he is.
I'm going to think that it's not. Congratulations in April if Jesus doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord. Come, Jesus, come. But yeah, 53 years, Ron. Whew. So standing at the altar at the wedding, I'm thinking again. I'm looking out and I see your grandma, your mom, your sister, her boyfriend, your brother, and his wife at the time, John and Carolyn, who stood up for us in this huge church. And they spread out trying to, make it look like there were some people there because that was it, in like 3 rows with a row in between them, kind of a thing. Thinking, wow, this isn't how I expected it to be, and yet this is happening. And yeah, forever and ever. I just thought, wow, God, what's next? What's next?
There's a picture of me sitting in a pew. My hands are on my knees, my head is in my hands, and I would say I was praying, but I wasn't. I mean, if you saw that now, you'd say, "Oh, Pastor Ron's praying," but I wasn't, and I was probably thinking, "What am I doing in the church?"
Good thing we didn't burn up. Huh?
Yeah, but you're leaning over me, and the picture was taken. And, that's such an instructive picture because you've been taking care of me for all of these years. And, the older we get, what do you say? You have a job with many tentacles in that job. But just kids who had no concept of what 53 years would be like.
Yeah. I've been taking care of you in maybe a physical sense. But even before you got saved, there were just some principles that the Lord had already put into you. You are a hard worker. You were going to make sure our family was taken care of. And then once you got saved, same thing. It was now all about Jesus. And, what you learned in the world, you were gung-ho 100%. And then once you got saved, it's like, oh man, you sat us down and told the kids and me, everything I taught you has been wrong. When I learn what's right, I'll tell you. And that's what you've been doing. And so, in a physical sense, mine is just payback, and I'm grateful because I can ask questions 24/7 if I want to, not just in this hour.
And you don't have to dial 340-9585, do you?
Probably would forget it. Yeah. 210, that's right.
Paula, what was the scariest thing for you back then?
Well, having a child, for sure.
You thought the hospital was reckless, sending you home with a child.
Hey, look, one of you nurses need to come home with me. Yeah. And they're like, ha, 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 ha. I said, no, seriously. Because you and I still didn't know how to be husband and wife, let alone now we're going to be responsible for another human being. And you worked so much, I thought, I am going to mess this child up. Because at the time, my mom was manic depressive or super high bipolar, and she kept telling me I was going to be just like her. And I thought, oh, no. That's not fair to do to anybody. And so, yeah, that being a mom was really scary. But after a while, it was the best thing ever. I mean, absolutely. Once I got over the idea of I'm a kid having a kid, and then I did go home, and the nurses were right. It'll be like riding a bike. I fell off my bike. My daddy let me go. He lied to me, kind of a thing. So, I'm thinking, I had dressed Ronnie in every item of clothing that they make, And then the first time I took him to the little 6-week checkup, he had sweated so bad that he had a heat rash. So the doctor says to me, the same temperature you feel is what he feels. and you just got a little T-shirt and some pants on, that's all he needs. See, I told him, people, somebody need to come home with me. But after I got used to a little bit better, then it wasn't so bad. But yeah, no.
Yeah, Ronnie was our experimental child.
Yeah, poor baby.
We had no idea. I got a couple of funny Ronnie stories to tell on the other side of the break. Hey, we'll take questions about anything, 210-340-9585 or toll free 877-630-KSLR. This is the Date Day edition on Tuesday of the Word to Stand Up for Life. I'm Pastor Ron Arbaugh. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Welcome back to the Word to Stand On for Life. We're taking your calls at 340-9585 or toll free 877-630-KSLR. Now, here's Pastor Ron Arbaugh.
Welcome back to the second half of this special Date Day edition of the program. We'd love your questions, calls, or comments, 210-340-9585. Paul, you were talking about Ronnie.
Oh, poor Ronnie.
And we were so poor. I mean, we were so poor. My dad disowned me. We were just kids. The idea of growing up and being responsible, we didn't have any idea how to navigate it. I'm still thinking I'm going to play second base for the Dodgers, and that wasn't working out. We used to pull him around. We couldn't afford, I just think CPS would take him away from us today.
It's a good thing it's over.
Yeah, but we would pull him around in a little red wagon.
I know, he was so cute.
We didn't have strollers or anything like that, so he'd sit in a wagon. But the problem is, if you got the fulcrum just a little bit off, it would go over. I don't know how many times the boy fell on his head, just straight back.
What was wrong with us? The sidewalk is straight, but when you get to the driveway, it dips down. Hello, every time we bonk over. What is wrong with us? Oh, well. Poor baby.
Just one of those things. But there's another time you called me at work, and this is after I started to get responsible as working. I mean, I always worked a lot.
You did.
But you called me one day, and this is
after we had Terry.
Yeah, in Montclair, California.
That's right.
And you were watching Terry and Ronnie, and they were home, and you called me and said, "I can't find Ronnie. Mm-hmm. I can't find Ronnie." Now, we lived in a pretty big apartment complex.
Huge.
And Ronnie evidently got up on a chair or something and unlocked the door and made it out. Yeah. Now, he went out with no clothing on. Now, he's not even 2. Mm-hmm.
He loved to be naked.
Oh,
he would just take off his clothes because he was fully dressed.
Yeah.
I had to go upstairs because Terry cried, and I was changing his diaper. I mean, just that fast. By the time I come back, it's like the door is open. Where's my child? I had the lock thing on. He had moved the little side chair over, got up on the thing, undid the chain, and got out, and the door's open. I'm like, oh my goodness. We're at the middle back of the
apartment
complex. Yeah.
So that means he has to walk through a long driveway.
Yeah.
He got to the street where the front of the apartment was, and turned right and went a block. Now, he had to go across another small street. But that was sort of a freeway frontage road, not like in Texas, but it was sort of like a freeway frontage road. Mm-hmm. And so you call me, and I said, what do you mean he's gone? Mm-hmm. I can't find him. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'll be right there. And I probably 20 minutes rushing to drive from work to the apartment. And so I pulled off the freeway and looked to my right, and Ronnie was sitting butt naked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In a hole filled with mud, just playing. I mean, he's 20 yards from the freeway on-ramp.
Yeah.
And heavy traffic. And I don't even know why I would look over there, but I just looked over and thought I saw something and recognized it.
He had gone across a 4-lane street.
Yeah.
Had he gone straight, there's Montclair Plaza is right there.
Yeah.
And that's 6 lanes. Why he didn't want to go to the mall where it'd be more activity, praise the Lord.
Oh, he saw the dirt and the hole in the mud.
Yeah.
He's just going to play in that.
Right by the freeway.
Yeah.
Not once. This happened 2 times.
I picked him up, brought him home. I think it's the first time you want to whip him.
I was glad to see him.
You were so relieved.
My goodness, that boy. The second time, he got up on the kitchen sink, because I moved the furniture around so it would be more difficult for him to move the couch. So, I'm wising up as this new mom. So I moved the furniture around so he couldn't get that. So he got up on the kitchen counter by the sink, opened the kitchen sink window, and jumped down. How he didn't break something, and he did the exact same thing.
He's always been super athletic and
oh my gosh,
just lying his feet. So
he's always been the one trying to. I used to say, "Do you go to sleep at night trying to drive me crazy?" Because that boy. Anyway, did you have something?
Yeah, Paula, we got Lucy on line 1 from Universal City. Lucy, thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just wanted to call in and say happy anniversary.
Aw, thank you, my sweet twin sister.
Lucy, I think we've been married longer than you've been alive.
I'm not going to tell my age. But that made me laugh. Okay.
Thank you.
We
Thank
love
you very much.
you so much, and we praise God for the example that you both are to all married couples. Never give up. We just continue trusting God in our lives and keep going forward. And that is the essence of your life together, is just continue trusting God. And that's visible everywhere in your testimony. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucy. God bless you.
Thank you. This is all the Lord, Lucy. And, because we have his word, and for a fact, because your testimony is out there too, but that you are my number one hero as far as enduring and I guess persevering and loving and loving and loving.
I can tell you one thing, Paula. The life that we embarked on all those years ago, we never could have dreamed that it would have ended up with us doing what we do.
I know.
And, when Paul writes to the church at Ephesus says, God will do more than we can ask or imagine, we don't have the capacity to even consider that. Mm-hmm. And this is a life that I never would have dreamed of. Financially, it was a life that back then I would have thought, I'm the biggest failure in the world, and I'll be poor, and Paula will leave me, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's turned out, not materially, but otherwise, it's just by far the richest life we could ever have imagined, and the privilege that we have of being able to do what we do. Mm-hmm. And we can look back now and see God's hand leading us and guiding us, sometimes pushing us, sometimes stopping us from making a wrong turn, keeping us from crossing lines. And just going back to the 34 years I've been saved, it's just unfathomable that we've arrived where we are. Yeah. I mean, it seems like 30 minutes ago we got to San Antonio instead of 30 years ago.
Well, maybe like 15 years.
No, I mean, it just
has flown by
so quick.
Yeah.
And sometimes on Sundays you'll ask me, does it feel like time's just flying by?
Yeah, sometimes first service is already third service. I'm like, what happened? Yeah,
my whole life is like that since God took over. Yeah. People say, do you ever get bored? How could I get bored? I feel like I'm running all the time. Mm-hmm. Somebody said, well, what are you going to do on your anniversary? I hope to be in bed by 9. Yeah. We're not celebrators in that sense anyway. Mm-hmm. But, our life is so exciting. Sometimes it's just, yeah. I want to go and put my feet up and wait till it gets dark. I can't go to bed before dark. Yeah. It just doesn't work for me.
You're so cute because you keep asking me, is it dark yet? Yeah. I'm going to get those blackout curtains that we had in Orlando.
Oh, weren't they great?
Yeah, those were terrific. But anyway, I love my life. Yeah, sometimes it's challenging. The Lord will lead you into different things, like come to San Antonio. Wait a minute. I never wanted to come to Texas. So, I have my plans. But the Lord said, no. This is the one for life. you've been praying for this one, and he's saved, and he prays, and he hears from me. You can trust him. So get in the car, put your seatbelt on, let's go, And so here we are, and, you think about it. Started this church with really nothing. Pretty much we still have nothing.
Yeah, we didn't know anybody.
Didn't know anybody
No,
when we came here.
it's not true. We say that, and we certainly don't make money.
Who do we know?
But we say we still have nothing. We make those comments.
Oh yeah.
But we really have everything.
We do. We're amply supplied. I'm so content. I really am. The Lord has given me a family, because remember he told me a long time ago, I will give you all that the locust has stolen. Single barren woman, you who never bore a child, burst into song, shout for joy, you who are never in labor, because more are the children of the desolate woman than of her who has a husband. I got more people calling me Mama Paula than I look at some people when we go other places. I'm like, how do you even know me? Be calling me Mama. They're just calling me Mama Paula. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we were at the restaurant. Some people took us to the barbecue restaurant, and a lady comes up to our table and says, hiding her face, to you, say something. And you just said hi. She said, say something else. And you said something else.
I said, God bless you.
God bless you. And she says, you're Pastor Ron. Mm-hmm. She just knew you from the radio.
She was so excited, wasn't she?
Tara Tannen Lewis.
Yeah. And then another time in that same restaurant, in fact, the next week in that same restaurant, walked in, and there was a biker group.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a lady
That's
there
right.
that started kind of clapping her hands and says, you're the Arbaughs, you're the Arbaughs, Pastor Ron, Pastor Ron.
That was Michelle.
Yeah, and I didn't recognize her, but
they had the biker group.
Yeah, they listened. And I remember her, when she started talking, I remembered her. And she looked so good. She hadn't changed.
She hadn't changed a bit.
Other than she got motorcycle leathers on.
Yeah, she's in awe. She said, if you would have told me this 10 years ago, that I'd be this motorcycle mama kind of thing, no way. But yeah, God just moves in mysterious ways. And yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, that was 2 weeks in a row at the same restaurant. Mm-hmm. And it's, that's the life of meaning and purpose that God promises all of us. Yeah. The abundant life that too few of us really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I used to think, Lord, I'm a cheerleader. You just give me the gift of encouragement. I thought I'd have something different, And he's smart. I like the gift that I have, the gift of encouragement, because there's been and then for a minute, let me back up. Then for a minute, I didn't really like it, because what I figured out, I'm a little dense, a little slow. If I have the gift of encouragement and I use it, that means I'm going to be around a lot of discouraged people.
So you can figure stuff out.
Yeah, it took me a while. But that gift is, that one of empathy when I'm looking at people and I can see that maybe there's something not quite right, Why are you sad today? And then they start crying even more. And I'm like, oh, that's my first ministry at the church was Kleenex.
Let me tell you, that's the most amazing thing, just to sit and watch you with total strangers, people that you've never met. Mm. And there's just something that God has given you. And you can look at we talk to a lot of people. Yeah. And some of them, a little standoffish. Even those, God will sort of give you some insight into something that's going on in their lives. And you'll say, are you doing okay? Mm. Or you look sad. Mm-hmm. Can I pray for you? Mm-hmm. And they just start crying. Mm-hmm. And they just start unloading them. So I just know I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be there for a while unless you bring them over to me to introduce them. Yeah. But it's such a wonderful gift.
Yeah. But you have that too. You have that very same thing. And it's, like you said earlier, the Lord kind of pulls us, pushes us, kind of a nudge, like, go talk to that person. In yours, a lot of times it's pay for their lunch, pay for their breakfast. They're here, but they need they need to see that God is real, that He's generous, and so Yeah, so you have the same thing.
Well, it's a little bit different, but it's just I actually go into restaurants every day. When we go, we don't go every day to a restaurant, but when we go in,
I do know how to cook.
and we go in Thursdays and Saturdays sometimes. But I'm asking, Lord, show me somebody, Lord, if there's somebody who needs some love, some encouragement. If there's somebody you want to put in my heart, and there are times really simply God will say, by their restaurant that or by their breakfast, that turns into an open door to be able to talk to them.
Yeah, I've seen you too, where though you're not trying to listen to other people's conversations, sometimes when you see people praying and or they start talking about the Lord, and maybe they're off a little bit.
Or a lot.
Sorry, I didn't want to say that.
It's almost like God gives me supernatural hearing in cases like that. There could be somebody 3 tables down, and they're talking about something, and it'll be like Jesus is like opening the volume levels in my ears.
Yeah.
And, I can go over. We bought one guy breakfast. He's been coming to church ever since. And we didn't say come to our church or anything like that.
No.
But he's been coming to church ever since.
Yeah.
He's seeing a different Jesus than the one he knows.
Yeah.
Paul, here's a question that just came in from the studio anonymously. It says, if someone who is married passes on and their spouse remarries, what will happen when these 3 people get to heaven, assuming they're all saved? One of the great things, and a Calvary Chapel pastor whose first wife was killed in a car wreck, he put this in a way that made the most sense to me from the beginning. He said, I don't love my first wife any less. I love her as much as I ever did, perhaps even more.
Yeah.
He said, but what God does is he expands our heart and the capacity of our heart to love when and if he brings somebody else into our lives. And, I watch one of my objects of prayer daily, Paula. We have people in our church who've been married for a long time, who lost their spouses. And because we've been married for so long, it's like, what would I do? So I pray for them constantly. Not that God would bring somebody else into their heart, but that they would fall so in love with Jesus that his grace would be enough. And then they would be prepared if he wanted to bring somebody else in their life. God knows if we need somebody else or not. But in heaven, we'll be family. There won't be any jealousy. There won't be any first wife staring down the second wife kind of thing, or the first husband jealous of the second husband. It'll be when there's no sin nature, and when our hearts are so pure, we'll be like he is, like Jesus is. It's just something that we can't even begin to understand. Yeah. But we just have the capacity. We tease a lot. And I just figure you're going to live longer than I do. So I always say, Paula, when your next husband, do the, and you say, well, I am not getting married to him. and I thought the other day about that. I thought, well, it wouldn't be fair for me to get married to somebody else. Because I got pet nicknames for you. And I would call her Paula or Peeps or it just wouldn't be fair. Yeah. I need you and I need Jesus. I need Jesus first, but I need you. And if you were gone, then Jesus would be enough. Yeah. And, we're not get excited, go out, got to be out in the street partying kind of people. So, I think when we're surrounded with Jesus and we're surrounded with God's people all the time, I think that will be plenty for us. But there are some people who they just aren't good alone. Yeah. And God knows that, and he supplies their needs. Yeah.
I also think, just listening to this conversation, I'm thinking, if you were to get married, if I died first, and another lady came along and would take care of you, probably even better than me, I would think, thank you so much for taking care of him. I loved him so much. And when I wasn't there, what was he going to do? And so, thank you so much for taking care of him. I think that's what would happen.
We are around so many people in that situation where they've lost the spouse they loved, and life gets hard. It gets really, really hard, and you can see the struggle. Yeah, and that's why I pray for them every day by name. There's about 9 of them on my list. Yeah, and it is an adjustment that needs to be made.
It is. I had one lady after her husband died. She came to me at church here in the hallway. She goes, "Now what do I do?" Our friend Hendel is struggling with that same thing. She's you've been like me. I've been with you for 55 years, 53, married. But you're my life. My whole day is, okay, I get him to the office by 9:30 at the latest 10, depends on the meetings and that kind of stuff. If I'm busy all day, I know that the last minute that I can take a shower is 3:35 to be ready to listen to the show at home. The minute the show is over, I get in the car to come over here to pick you up. So I'm trying to be here like 5:05 to get you home. When you wake up in the morning is when I get out of bed because I want you to sleep as much as you can. So I'm usually awake by the time you wake up, but I lay there and try to be still so you can get as much rest as you can because you don't rest that much. But my whole life is on a clock schedule for your convenience. And so for my friends who've lost their husbands, that I know that routine is their life, when they say, "Now what do?" I totally get that.
And when pastor friends of mine have died, the wife has to deal with the fact that I'm not pastor's wife anymore. Mm-hmm. There's another pastor's wife in the church. Mm-hmm. And those are hard things. Yeah. Those are hard adjustments. Yeah. Paula, we're inside 5 minutes now for the show today. I really wanted to do this together today, not miss date day, because we've got that KSLR luncheon on Thursday. But what do you want to do with the last 4.5 minutes?
For those who are married, and maybe like us at the beginning, they're just struggling, where the Lord says, I want you to endure and persevere, die to self, and love. The people are the point, and the people in your home are the most important. Apologize all the time.
I always tell the men especially, it's 2 magic words. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, but it's not 3 words. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Yeah. And then if you want to add something else, can you please forgive me? Mm-hmm. No excuses, no rationalizations, just I'm sorry. Yeah. And boy, marriages would be so much healthier if we just learned those words.
Yeah. Many years ago, the Lord showed me that you and I are like Siamese twins. We're connected. And we're connected at the heart. You can live without one of your arms. You can live without a leg. You can live without one ear. You can live without eyes, all that kind of stuff. But you cannot live with half a heart, a ripped heart in the middle. And so it's like, work it out, people, You love each other, it's just that you've been disappointed, and you want that pain to stop. And so you think running, or, even if you stay in the same house, you've got hobbies or whatever else. But no, work it out and watch what God will do.
I think one of the things we have to remember is that we say we love God. And the thing that saved my life really was you understanding Malachi. I am the Lord, the God of Israel. I hate divorce. Mm-hmm. And you got that. And you didn't have much theology back then, but you got that. And there was just a switch that went on. So, well, if I love God, I have to love what he loves and hate what he hates. He loves Ron. Mm-hmm. Now, you couldn't understand how he could have loved me. But he loves Ron, and he hates divorce. Yeah. And that's when you signed up for the long run, right then and there. Yeah. And that faith and the willingness to, the King James uses the word long-suffering instead of patience. Mm-hmm. I always tell people that means to suffer for a long time. Mm-hmm. And you signed up for that. Yeah. And God heard your prayers and answered, of course. And I'd say our last 34 years have been pretty spectacular.
Pretty good. And you know what? It's getting even better. It is. And I'm really appreciative of the Lord. Somebody said, Lucy, saying that we're a good example, It's because the Holy Spirit lives in us. And he who lives in us is greater than the one in the world, which is where we used to be. And so this is his marriage. He told me, this is the one for life. What a life. What a life I'm getting to live. And so thank you to you as well, hanging in. I don't know why you keep saying all the time, if it wasn't for the Lord, we would have been done. But anyway, I forgive you for that.
No, I mean, we, as young people, we were scared and looking for ways out and looking for ways not to be hurt.
Yeah.
And we just didn't know better.
We didn't know any better.
Like a brute beast before you.
I know. I love that. That's Psalm 73. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Hang in there, people. It's fun. We're having a blast right now. Our kids and grandkids, they're like, wow, you guys, really cool. Ronnie, our oldest son, said, I don't know where our family would be, Mom, if Jesus hadn't intervened.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Hope you weren't bored with our story, but 53 years for us is special. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Lord willing, I'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock on AM 630 The Word. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Thanks for spending this time with Calvary Chapel's The Word to Stand On for Life with Pastor Ron Arbaugh. The Word to Stand On for Life is on every weekday afternoon at 4, and Pastor Ron invites you to find out more about Calvary Chapel at calvarysa.com. The Word to Stand On for Life was sponsored by Calvary Chapel of San Antonio.